Welcome back to NHL Imperialism, everyone in their prime edition. We already know how this works, so let's get right into it. Our first attacking team in the video is going to be the New Jersey Devils, and it looks like they're going to be headed northeast, and that's going to lead into a bit of Islanders territory, so they're taking on the New York Islanders in our first matchup. So this New Jersey Devils team is looking exactly the same except for one change, which is Andre Platt up to an 85 overall. Other than that, it's the exact same team and nothing else has changed. On the other hand, the New York Islanders are going to be seeing some upgrades as Zach Parise is up to a 92 overall and Kyle Palmieri is up to an 84 overall for their forward core. The defense on the Islanders is going to be looking the exact same, while the goaltending is going to be getting an upgrade here as Varlamov's up to an 89 overall, but he's still going to be backing up Sorokin. Kyle Clutterbuck and Thomas Tatar are going to be exchanging goals in the first period. In the second, New Jersey's picking up 2 goals compared to the Islanders 1, so they have a 1-goal lead entering the third period. In the third period, the New Jersey Devils are taking over. Nico Hischier's picking up 2 goals, while Miles Wood's picking up the other, and they've got themselves a 6-2 lead heading into the final minute. So obviously in the last minute 30, there's no way the Islanders are going to be getting back into this game, so New Jersey's taking this one 6-2. Through beating the New York Islanders, the New Jersey Devils are allowed to steal 1 player away, and they're going to be stealing Zach Parise. And on top of that, there is one rule, and I need you guys to understand this. I can only steal players who are now back in their prime. I can't steal players like Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid who are currently in their prime. Hopefully that clears everything up. I don't think it's that complicated to understand. And with that win, the New Jersey Devils are the first team taking over some land. Moving over to the Western Conference, the Anaheim Ducks are going to be our next attacking team. The Anaheim Ducks are going to be heading northwest, and that means they're going to be matching up against the Los Angeles Kings. The Anaheim Ducks are getting some massive upgrades as they have Ryan Kesler on the team, and now he's up to an 89 overall. I always forget that Ryan Kesler is technically still under contract, and they also have Adam Henrique, and he's up to an 87. Defensively, they're getting a massive upgrade as Kevin Shattenkirk's back up to an 87 overall, and he's ready to make some big moves, while the goaltending is looking fairly similar with John Gibson at 90 overall. The forward core for the LA Kings is looking fairly similar. Kopitar's at 90 while Arvidsson's up to an 85. I think I improved him a little bit. I can't remember. All I know is the forward core is looking almost identical. Defensively though, they are getting 2 upgrades with Alex Edler up to an 85 while Drew Doughty's now up to a 92 overall. And this team would have had a fantastic goaltender in net, but they traded him to the Vegas Golden Knights, so now they have Korpisalo at an 83 overall. Kings and Ducks are taking the same amount of shots in the first period, but Anaheim's going to be taking the lead entering the intermission. But in the second period, the Anaheim Ducks are going to be taking off, and they've got themselves a 4-2 lead entering the final 20 minutes. The Kings wouldn't be able— oh wow, they just scored. I was literally about to say the Kings weren't able to pick up any momentum in the third period, and they just scored that goal. That was terrible timing. But time would eventually run out in this game. The Los Angeles Kings aren't going to be able to come back into this one, and Anaheim's taking it 4-3. From the LA Kings, the Anaheim Ducks are going to be seeing a massive upgrade to their defensive core as they're bringing Drew Doughty onto the team. With Anaheim claiming LA's territory, they're slowly working their way to claiming the rest of California. We're moving back over to the Eastern Conference as the Carolina Hurricanes are our next team on attack. They're going to be heading direct. That means they're going to be claiming a free state. But I did make one adjustment since the last time we did Imperialism. Every team must attack when it's their turn. So although Carolina got a free state here, we got to spin the direction wheel once again. The next spin for the Hurricanes is going to be sending them southwest. Once again, the Hurricanes are going to be claiming another free state, but I'm going to keep on spinning that directional arrow. Carolina has been so lucky in Imperialism because there's so many free states around them. Not anymore. This time, you gotta take on some. So it looks like Carolina's finally going to be getting into a matchup here as they're heading west, but slightly south, but that doesn't matter. You're basically heading west, so you gotta take on the Nashville Predators. The Carolina Hurricanes are getting some great upgrades to their forward core as Max Patre is up to an 88 overall, Paul Stastny's back up to an 86, and so is Jordan Staal. On the defense end, they're going to be getting a massive boost as Brett Burns is up to a 92 overall, and Jake Gardner's up to an 85, so that's definitely going to be a massive help for this team. The goaltending situation is looking basically the same with Freddie Anderson at an 88 overall and Antti Raanta at an 86. With all the improvements the Nashville Predators are getting, this team's still cooked. Ryan Johansson, he's up to an 86, and Matt Duchene is as well. They are getting a bit of help on the defense end though, as Ryan McDonough's up to an 86 overall and Tyson Barrie's an 85. Although those two guys aren't enough to save this team, maybe UC Stars can steal them a few games. We'll have to wait and see. No Sen's going to be picking up the first goal of the game, but in the second period, Nashville's going to be fighting back, so we're entering the second intermission in a 2-2 tie. 2 massive goals from the Carolina Hurricanes defense is going to be giving them the lead heading into the final minutes. Nashville wouldn't be able to get back into this game, so Carolina's going to be taking it 4-2. From the Nashville Predators, we're bringing Ryan Johansson onto the team. He's definitely going to help the center depth here, and yes, I know Ryan Johansson was technically traded to the Colorado Avalanche. I'm going with the last roster update. He was on Nashville, just the way she goes. With Carolina taking Nashville's land and the 2 free states they got, they're slowly gaining control of the East Coast. We finally have our first Canadian team on the attack, and that's going to be the Edmonton Oilers. The first spin for the wheel is going to be pointing northwest for the Edmonton Oilers. Edmonton's not getting into a matchup from that spin as they're just going to be claiming Saskatchewan. Our next spin is going to give us a matchup, however, as we're headed east, and through heading east through Saskatchewan, we're going to be entering Winnipeg Jets territory. The only upgrade that the Edmonton Oilers are going to be receiving to their forward core is Nick Bukestad. He's up to an 82 overall. On the defense end, Darnell Nurse is up to an 88 overall, while Oscar Klefbom's healthy again. He's up to an 84. And holding it down in between the pipes for this team is an 87 overall Mike Smith and an 85 overall Jack Campbell. With a healthy goaltending tandem, this Edmonton team is definitely going to be a threat. The Winnipeg Jets are going to see a handful handful of upgrades. Mark Scheifele's up to an 85, Kyle Connor's a 91, and Blake Wheeler's a 90. Defensively, this team's going to be looking the exact same, with Josh Morrissey leading the way, and in between the pipes is Connor Hellebuyck. He's a 91 overall still. Nothing's changing there. Edmonton's offense is going to get the goal scoring started, but Sam Gagner's going to be potting a late one, so he's keeping this a 1-goal game. But in the second period, Edmonton's offense continues to roll. They're picking up another 2 goals, and they have a 4-1 lead entering the final 20 minutes. Ryan McLeod and Darnell Nurse are picking up a goal each, so Edmonton now has a 5-goal lead entering the final minute. And with a 5-goal lead, there's no way Winnipeg's coming back in this game, so Edmonton's going to be taking it 6-1. Now, technically, I could add Kyle Connor to this team because he's back in his prime from an 89 overall to a 91, but I mean, that seems a bit cheap to me, so Blake Wheeler, welcome to the Edmonton Oilers. With Edmonton now owning 2.5 provinces, they own themselves a big chunk of land. We're sticking in the Western Conferences. The Arizona Coyotes are the next team on the attack. Our first spin on this wheel is going to be sending Arizona southeast. Southeast for the Arizona Coyotes is just giving them a free state, so we gotta spin the wheel again. Our next spin is going to be sending this team mainly north, but slightly east as well. But once again, slightly northeast for this team, just going to allow them to claim a free state. Now, I know there will be some people saying, oh, they could have taken on the Colorado Avalanche. So if you go slightly northeast from the logo, it actually goes to the free state before it goes to Colorado. But none of that really matters because Arizona is going to lose in their first matchup anyways. With our third spin, Arizona is finally going to be getting into a matchup as they're heading northwest. And by going this direction, they're going to have to take on the reigning Stanley Cup champion in the Vegas Golden Knights. Through Arizona taking on all these bad contracts, they now have a decent team here. Jacob Voracek's up to an 89 overall, Andrew Ladd's up to an 84, while Brian Little, he's an 85 now. Defensively, this team isn't completely terrible because of one player, Shea Weber. He's technically on the Arizona Coyotes, so he's an 84 overall now. Maybe he can save this team from a first round elimination, who knows. Meanwhile, the goaltending is going to be staying the same for this team. Looking at the Vegas Golden Knights, this team's getting a handful of upgrades. Phil the Thrill Kessel, he's up to 90 overall, while William Karlsson, he's getting a slight boost up to an 86. Defensively, this team's going to be getting a bit of an upgrade as Alec Martinez is now back up to an 85 overall. But the real upgrade comes in between the pipes for this team as they have a 93 overall Jonathan Quick holding it down. So the reigning Stanley Cup champions just picked up a prime Jonathan Quick. You definitely can't sleep on this team. They're looking to make moves. Jack Eichel is going to get the goal scoring started in the first period as he's picking up the lone goal. But in the second, we're going to see Vegas double down as they're picking up another 2 goals and they've got themselves a 3-goal lead. Early in the third period, we're going to see Chandler Stevenson pick up his second goal of the game and Vegas now has a 4-goal lead. Alright, I'm going to keep it 1,000. I do not want to watch the rest of this game. Vegas is taking it 4-0 and they're going to be adding Shea Theodore to the team. Yeah, I'm not going to sit through these last 27 seconds. I'm just going to keep it 1,000 with you guys. Who really cares? We already know how this game's going to end. So I already mentioned it earlier. We know who we're bringing onto the team. That's going to be 94 overall Shea Theodore. So although Arizona did claim a bunch of land through those free states, Vegas is going to be taking it all. Moving on from that, we're heading over to the Eastern Conferences. The Boston Bruins are our next team on the attack. It looks like Boston's taking the Arizona Coyotes approach as they're going to be heading south. And that means they're going to be claiming a free state, so we're spinning the wheel again. With our next spin, Boston's going to be doing the exact opposite as now they're heading northeast. Although they're heading the opposite direction, it's going to be the same result as they're going to be claiming another free state. Alright, so Boston's heading southeast now. And you know what southeast is going to be giving them? Another free state. You're not getting out of this, Boston. You have to match up against somebody, and I'm going to keep on spinning this wheel. With our fourth spin, Boston's going to be heading slightly northeast. And who would have seen this one coming? Boston is once again going to be claiming a free state. Now, there was a small section where they could have gone to Montreal, but I think it just makes more sense if they claim the free state right there. Because at that point, we're just splitting hairs between Montreal and the free state. And finally, with our fifth spin, we're going to see ourselves a matchup. Or that's what I thought, but with the arrow going slightly northwest, it's actually allowing them to claim this free state. So once again, the Boston Bruins are claiming a free state. So finally, with no more free states left around Boston, they're finally going to be getting into a matchup and they're heading southwest. And southwest is going to be sending them into New Jersey Devils territory, so that's who they're going to be taking on. So if the Boston Bruins weren't strong enough, they're even better now. Patrice Bergeron's up to a 92 overall, David Krejci's up to a 90, so is Taylor Hall, Nick Foligno's up to an 87. This is probably the best forward core we're going to be seeing today. Defensively, nothing's really going to be changing with this team except Dmitry Orlov might be getting a slight upgrade and so is Matt Grzelcyk. I can't remember if I gave them upgrades. It would have only been 1 or 2 overalls. Not 100% sure on that one. And in between the pipes, it's still Allmark and Swayman. Nothing's changing there. Timo Meier is going to be starting the goal scoring off as he's picking up the first goal of the game. After a scoreless second period, Charlie Coyle is going to be evening this game up in the third period, and we're entering the final minutes in a 1-1 game. Neither team would be able to pick up another goal in the third period, so we're entering overtime in a 1-1 tie. It's not going to take us too long before we found our winner in overtime. Zach Parise is collecting the puck against the boards, and then some nice passing from the New Jersey Devils is going to free him up in the slot, and he's going to rip this one home. So after claiming all that free space, not only is Boston losing that, but they're also losing Patrice Bergeron as he's joining the New Jersey Devils. So after Boston wasted all of our time, this is what the map's looking like after New Jersey stole all that territory away. Ain't no way it took Boston 5 or 6 spins to get into a matchup, and then they proceeded to lose in that first matchup. You hate to see it, you really do. We're finally going to see ourselves another Canadian matchup as the Vancouver Canucks are on the attack next. The arrow is going to be telling Vancouver to head southeast, and by going this way, they're going to have to take on another Canadian team in the Calgary Flames. So no cap, this Vancouver team is looking almost identical. Brock Besser is getting a slight upgrade as he's going to move up to an 86 overall. So although all Oliver Ekman-Larsson did get bought out, he was still on the team in the last roster update, so I improved him to an 86 overall. And nothing's changing with the goaltending situation, as Thatcher Demko is still an 86 overall. The Calgary Flames are going to begin some decent upgrades to their forward core, as Jonathan Huberdeau is back up to a 91 overall, and Lucic, he's improving to an 88 overall. Defensively, this team's going to be staying the exact same, but goaltending is going to get a slight upgrade, and Jacob Markstrom's back up to an 89 overall. After a scoreless first period, Shillington and Tanev are going to be finding the back of the net, and Calgary's got a 2-0 lead heading into the final 20 minutes. Lindholm and Tanner Pearson are going to be exchanging goals in the third period, so Calgary's going to retain that 2-goal lead. So Backlund's going to be scoring here. I actually really wasn't paying attention to what was going on. I was already filling out the map because I know Vancouver's going to lose this one, so yeah. It's a 4-1 victory, not a 3-1 anymore. Through taking down the Vancouver Canucks, Calgary's going to be bringing another solid goal scorer onto the team in Brock Besser. They've also made some big moves on the map as they now own all of British Columbia. We're sticking in the Pacific Division as the San Jose Sharks are on the attack next. San Jose is going to be taking their talents due south, and that's leaned into a matchup as they have to take on the Vegas Golden Knights. So there's only two players turning to their prime on the San Jose Sharks, and it's going to be Marc-Edouard Vlasic returning to an 88 overall, and Erik Karlsson, he's back in his prime at a 94 overall. Outside of that, this team's looking identical. San Jose's power play is going to work in the first period as they're picking up the first 2 goals of the game. And in the second period, somehow they're going to build on that lead as they're picking up another one, and now they have a 3-0 lead heading into the final 20 minutes. How is this team up? That doesn't even make any sense. So somehow Vegas is going to get shut out in this game to the San Jose Sharks of all teams. How are you getting shut out to the San Jose Sharks? James Reimer's in between the pipes. Nobody besides Marc-Edouard Vlasic and Erik Karlsson are back in their primes. Now this makes no sense. So there was a handful of players that could have taken away from the Vegas Golden Knights, but I feel like Jonathan Quick's going to have the biggest impact on this team. So that's who I'm going to be choosing. So with that San Jose win, this is what the map's looking like now. Who would have thought it would look like this? Moving back over to the Metro Division as the Buffalo Sabres are on the move next. With Buffalo unable to avoid a matchup, they're going to be heading southeast into one. And the team that they're going to be taking on is going to be the Philadelphia Flyers. The forward core is going to get a few upgrades, with Jeff Skinner improving to an 89 overall and Kyle Poso improving to an 87. Defensively, this team's going to be looking the exact same. However, the goaltending is a completely different story. They got a 92 overall Ben Bishop and a 90 overall Craig Anderson. Philly has a few decent pieces on their team, an 87 overall JVR, an 86 overall Cam Atkinson, and St. Louis legend Kevin Hayes. Hopefully that take doesn't age incredibly poorly, which it possibly could. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Defensively, this team doesn't look completely awful, with the lowest overall being Rasmus Ristolainen at an 82 overall. They got an 85 Tony DeAngelo, an 86 overall Ryan Ellis. We'll see what this team's able to do. And on top of all that, they got an 87 overall Carter Hart, and I think they can complete an upset or two. Travis Konecny's going to start the game off with 2 goals in the first period. In the third period, Buffalo's going to be tying this game up, but Owen Tippett's going to be potting a late one to give Philly the lead in the final seconds. So with 8 seconds left, Buffalo's not going to be able to get back into this game as Philly wins the face-off. They're going to run the rest of the clock out, and Philly's taking this one a 3-2 victory. Philly already has a decent goaltender in Carter Hart, so I might as well improve the forward core a bit more, so I'm bringing 89 overall Jeff Skinner onto the team. Philly's not going to be claiming too much land away from Buffalo, so there's no point talking about this too much. Moving on to our next team, we're sticking in the Eastern Conferences. We have the Ottawa Senators up next. It's going to be impossible for Ottawa to avoid a matchup as they're heading east, and it really shouldn't be a surprise who they're taking on, and through heading east, they got to take on the Montreal Canadiens. Claude Giroux is going to be the highest overall here, and he's going to be leading the Ottawa Senators at 92 overall. Outside of him and Derek Brassard, this team's going to be staying exactly the same. Montreal, on the other hand, is going to see a handful of upgrades. Sean Monahan's up to an 87, Mike Hoffman's an 86, and Jonathan Drouin, he's up to an 85. Although this team's staying the same defensively, they are getting an upgrade in their goaltending position as Carey Price is back to a 94 overall. Although this team's staying the same defensively, they are getting a massive upgrade in between the pipes as Carey Price is back and he's a 94 overall. Josh Anderson's picking up the first 2 goals of the game, but Tim Stutzel is going to be able to respond, so it's a 1-goal game entering the first intermission. After DeBrincat even this game up, Drouin and Hoffman are going to be picking up a goal each, and it's a 2-goal lead heading into the final 20 minutes. Okay, I guess this game's just not going to pause for me. Yeah, Montreal's taking them down, but I hit square, it paused it, and then Gallagher scored, so it unpaused it. Thanks, game. Also, the other thing that's really annoying is I have to pause it a minute in advance. So if I want to pause it at the 1 minute mark, I have to press square at the 2:30 mark. Explain that to me, what's the thought process there? But let's not waste time complaining about this poorly made game as we're bringing Claude Giroux onto the Montreal Canadiens. So it should really be no surprise with that win from Montreal. They now own the most land in the entire game. We're going to continue to stay in the Eastern Conference as the New York Rangers are going to be our next attacking team. The arrow is going to be sending the Rangers southwest. It's no surprise this is going to lead into a matchup for the Rangers as they have to take on the Philadelphia Flyers. The 2 moves the Rangers made at the trade deadline are helping them out a ton as Patrick Kane's up to a 94 overall while Tarasenko's up to a 90 overall. Their defense is going to be gain an upgrade as we're going to see Jacob Trouba return to his Winnipeg days. Of course, Shesterkin's going to continue to lead the way in net, but they've got a solid backup in Yaroslav Halak, who's up to an 86. JVR is going to get the scoring started in this game as he's picking up the first of the game. Bellows and Trocheck are going to be exchanging goals in the second, so Philly's entering the second intermission with a 1-goal lead still. Once again, the Flyers and Rangers are going to be exchanging goals, and we're entering the final 2 minutes here with Philly having a 1-goal lead. In the final second, Sean Lawton's going to have a chance to end this game. He's going to bury it in the back of the net, and Philly's going to be defeating the Rangers 4-2. The Rangers have a ton of studs on their team, but this guy separates himself from the pack, so Patty Kane, welcome to the Philadelphia Flyers. The Flyers continue to keep on rolling, and they're completing another upset, so they're taking the Rangers territory. We're finally heading back over to the Western Conference, and now Calgary's going to be on the attack. There's really only one team around Calgary, and with them heading east, I think we already know who they're taking on. It really shouldn't be too much of a surprise. They got to take on the Edmonton Oilers. We got a good old battle of Alberta. After a scoreless first period, Edmonton's finally going to get on the board with the help of a goal from Klim Kostin. Okay, I'm pausing. I'm hitting pause. Okay, there's 4 seconds left. There's no point me jumping into that game for 4 seconds. Edmonton's taking them down 3-0. It's so annoying. If they score a goal the second I hit pause, I just unpause it, and then they score back-to-back, so I pause it again, unpaused it. Yeah, Edmonton's beating Calgary. That's all you need to know. It's not really too much of a debate on who I'm bringing over to the team. It's going to be Jonathan Huberdeau. He's a 91 overall. I can't really pass up on him. Actually, I take that back. We're not taking Jonathan Huberdeau. Lucic, welcome back to the Edmonton Oilers. He's an 88 overall, so it makes a bit of sense. He's a power forward. We already have enough playmakers on the team. Welcome back, Lucic. I'm ready for you to win this team a Stanley Cup. Or NHL Imperialism. Basically the same thing. No cap, Lucic is going to be a game changer for this team. I can guarantee you he's carrying the way for the rest of the video. Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to be our next team on the attack. They're going to be heading mainly south, but slightly east in the process. And that means we're getting ourselves a great rivalry matchup as they're going to be taking on the Washington Capitals. It should be no surprise the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to be a team that's getting a handful of upgrades. Sidney Crosby's a 96 overall. Evgeny Malkin, he's up to an 84 overall. And Jeff Carter, he's going to be manning that second line at an 88 overall. On the defensive end, of course, we're going to see a guy like Chris Letang return to a 92 overall. And I believe Jeff Petrie is getting a bit of an upgrade to an 85. Not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure he is. And the goaltending situation's looking the same here as Tristan Jarry's leading the way. The Washington Capitals are going to be another team that's getting a handful of upgrades to the forward core. Nick Backstrom's a 92 overall. Alexander Ovechkin, he's a 96. TJ Oshie an 88. And Evgeny Kuznetsov, he's up to a 90. And Tom Wilson, I'm pretty sure I gave him a little boost to an 86. Some of these overalls, I can't even remember whether I adjusted them or not because I made this roster like a month and a half ago. Defensively, the Washington Capitals are going to be looking the exact same, and the goaltending situation, that's looking the same as well. Oshie's going to get the goal scoring started in this game, but Getzel's going to even it up halfway through the first period. In the second period, though, the Penguins are taking over as they're picking up 3 goals, and this is going to be a tough hill for Washington to climb. I'm so sick of this game. This game is starting to annoy me. I hit pause and it paused for a second, so I assumed it did pause. So I just waited because I'm like, oh, I want to see if it actually does pause. Nope, it's not going to pause. TJ Oshie's going to score. Ricardo Rakell scoring like, what, 12 seconds later. Pittsburgh wins. I just completely give up with this game. How many more months until NHL 24 comes out? I am going through it right now. So it's not for debate who we're bringing onto the team. It's Alexander Ovechkin. I don't think I have to go in depth explaining why I'm making that selection. No cap, the pausing thing's starting to annoy me. You would think I would learn by now. And I did, but I just refused to change how I'm going to do things. So yeah, we're going to deal with the consequences. Our next matchup is going to be featuring a Central Division team in the Minnesota Wild. The Arrows going to be telling this team to head directly east, but that's just going to be leading into a free state for this team. Our next spin is going to be sending us the opposite direction as now we're heading west. But once again, that's leading to a free state for Minnesota. Minnesota's already headed east and they've already headed west, so now it's time for them to head south. Although it's a different direction, it's going to be the same outcome as they're claiming another free state. Minnesota's already headed the other 3 directions, so it's about time they headed north. But this time they're not going to be able to avoid a matchup as they're going to be taking on the Edmonton Oilers. Now I know people are going to say, oh well, they should take on Montreal if they're heading north. You could say that, but they're heading northwest. That means they should be heading into orange territory, and that's Edmonton. The forward core of Minnesota is going to be looking the exact same, except Nyquist is getting a boost to an 84 overall. Defensively, they're going to be seeing 2 improvements as John Klingberg is up to an 86 and Goligoski's up to an 84. However, the biggest upgrade this team's going to be seeing is in between the pipes as they have a prime Marc-Andre Fleury and he's a 94 overall and he can definitely steal them a game or 2. Minnesota and Edmonton are going to be exchanging goals in the first period. After a scoreless second period, Nyquist is going to be picking up a goal late in the game and Minnesota now has a 2-1 lead heading into the final minute. In the final seconds of this game, Evan Bouchard's going to throw a puck towards the net, but it's going to be deflected into the post. Blake Wheeler's going to be right there for the rebound and he's going to be tying this game up. Wow, that was close. I was just waiting for this game to go to overtime, but Bouchard's going to ring that one off the post. That shot was literally inches from ending this game, but now we're headed to overtime. With 7 minutes left in overtime, Connor McDavid's bringing the puck into the offensive zone. He's going to find Blake Wheeler. Blake Wheeler's faking the shot before dropping it back to Leon Draisaitl. He's making a nice move and he's beating Marc-Andre Fleury. Edmonton already has a bunch of elite offense on the team, so this is going to be a no-brainer for us. I'm bringing Marc-Andre Fleury to play in between the pipes. And that's going to be a massive win for the Edmonton Oilers, as they're going to be the first Canadian team to enter the US. We're heading back over to the East Coast as we have the Tampa Bay Lightning on the move next. Tampa's going to be taking their talents northeast, and I'm going to make an executive decision and call the state above them northeast. I know it's not technically northeast because northeast would actually just be into the ocean, but we're not doing that, so they're just going to claim the free state above them. With our next spin, Tampa's going to be heading directly north, and this spin is going to lead into a matchup for them as they're going to have to take on the Carolina Hurricanes. If the Tampa Bay core wasn't strong enough, it's getting even better as they have a 90 overall Corey Perry and Patty Maroon. He's back to his St. Louis days as he's an 82 overall. I'm classifying his prime as the St. Louis days because he scored that overtime winner against Dallas. That was the peak of Patrick Maroon's career right there. I mean, I guess you could say the peak was him winning 3 Stanley Cups, but that's neither here nor there. Defensively, they're also getting one massive boost on the right side. They're going to have 88 overall Brett Seabrook. Because we all know Brett Seabrook, he's a Tampa Bay legend. And in between the pipes, we already know Vasilevsky's going to be holding it down. Shane Gostisbehere is going to be picking up the lone goal of the first period. In the second, the offense is going to wake up for both of these teams as they're each picking up 2 goals, but Carolina's still holding on to that 1 goal lead. In the third period, Tampa's going to be picking up 2 goals in less than a minute, so they're entering the final 24 seconds with a 1 goal lead. In the final seconds of this game, Corey Perry is going to be taking the puck away from Shane Gostisbehere, and he's going to pick up the empty netter, and Tampa's taking this one 5-3. Although Tampa's defense is already looking pretty solid, we might as well bring in another upgrade as I'm bringing 92 overall Brett Burns onto the team. With that win from the Tampa Bay Lightning, they're going to be taking away Carolina's territory, and they got a massive upgrade to the defense, so this team's looking pretty strong. We have ourselves a poverty franchise on the move next, as the Chicago Blackhawks are our next attacking team. It doesn't really matter what direction they go because they're going to lose no matter what, but they're going to be heading northwest. And northwest is definitely going to lead them into a guaranteed loss because they have to take on the Edmonton Oilers. I refuse to believe they're beating this Edmonton Oilers team. Like, respectfully, look at the Chicago Blackhawks team. 92 overall Taves, 85 overall Tyler Johnson, and that's about it for the forward core. Defensively, they're going to have to rely on 88 overall Seth Jones carrying the way for them. Meanwhile, they're getting a slight upgrade in between the pipes as Peter Mrazek's returning to an 85 overall. Surprisingly, after 20 minutes, Chicago currently has a 2-1 lead in the game. After a scoreless second period, Leon Draisaitl is picking up a power play goal halfway through the third period, so we're entering the final minutes in a tie game. Neither team would be able to pick up a goal in the final moments, so we're going to be headed to overtime in a 2-2 tie. Unless Blake Wheeler scores here. Wow, Connor McDavid actually had a great chance there, but no, we're going to be headed to overtime. With 4 minutes left in overtime, Matthias Ekholm's got the puck along the boards and he's going to work his way towards the goal line. He's then going to work his way towards the front of the net where he's going to find Derek Ryan and he's going to bury the overtime winner. So there's not too many players to choose from the Chicago Blackhawks, so I'm going to bring in the captain, Jonathan Taves, as he sits at a 92 overall. Nah, but real talk, I think we all knew the Chicago Blackhawks were going to lose, especially if they took on the St. Louis Blues. We would have smoked them 7-0. We're going to head back over to the Atlantic Division as the Toronto Maple Leafs are on the move next. The Arrows going to be sending Toronto northeast. That's going to lead them into Montreal territory, so we're going to see the Maple Leafs taking on the Habs. The young core for the Toronto Maple Leafs is already in their prime, but now they have a 91 overall John Tavares, an 88 overall Ryan O'Reilly, and an 86 overall Wayne Simmons. And we can't forget about Alexander Kerfoot because he's sitting at an 85 overall. The Leafs are also going to be getting a massive upgrade on the defense as Mark Giordano is back to his Norris days as he's an 89 overall, and Jake Muzzin, he's healthy and ready to go and he's an 85. And this team just keeps on getting better because now 2-time Stanley Cup champion Matt Murray's back in his prime. After a scoreless first period, Wayne Simmons is picking up the first goal of the game, but Ryan Pitlick and Josh Anderson are both going to be responding, so Montreal has himself a 1-goal lead. About halfway through the third period, Mark Giordano is going to be picking up a goal and he's even this game up. Neither team's going to be able to pick up a goal late in the game, so we're headed to overtime. Just 5 minutes into overtime, Ryan O'Reilly's got the puck in the offensive zone. He's going to find Jake Muzzin. Muzzin's going to quickly dish over to Mitch Marner, who's going to throw a shot towards the net. The goaltender's making the save here, but Ryan O'Reilly's going to be right there for the rebound. He's going to end this one. Now, I understand I just hyped up Matt Murray, but I can't pass on a prime Carey Price. That's just impossible. So Carey Price, welcome to the Toronto Maple Leafs. The win from Toronto is an absolute massive one as they're going to be claiming all the land that Montreal owned. The newest team to the NHL is on the attack next, and that's the Seattle Kraken. The Arrows going to be sending Seattle east, but slightly north in the process. And that direction is allowing Seattle to claim a free state right beside them. Our next spin's sending them in a similar direction, but instead of heading slightly north, we're going to be heading slightly south. And by heading a similar direction, it's going to be a similar result as Seattle's once again going to be claiming a free state. Seattle's going to keep on going east, but this time they're going to end up in a matchup. And the team that they're taking on has been dominating NHL Imperialism so far, and that's the Edmonton Oilers. Seattle's not going to see any ridiculous jumps, but Jaden Schwartz is going to improve to an 87 overall, while Jordan Eberle's going up to an 88. Defensively, this team's going to be looking the exact same, but I think I might have gave Adam Larson a 1 or 2 overall boost. I can't really remember. Meanwhile, the goaltending situation on this team is definitely getting better as Grubauer's up to an 87, while Martin Jones is up to an 85. Jared McCann's going to get the goal scoring started in the first period. After a scoreless second period, Zach Hyman's going to be picking up a late goal in the third period, and he's evened it up, and more than likely we're headed to overtime as there's only 20 seconds left in the third third period. With 4 minutes left in overtime, Bjorkstrand's going to be able to poke the puck away from Ryan Murray, and then he's going to quickly dish it over to Burakovsky. It looks like Burakovsky's surprising Marc-Andre Fleury as he's going to be ripping this shot by him, and once again, we're going to see an Andre Burakovsky overtime winner. So of course, there was a handful of players I could have taken away for the Edmonton Oilers, but I'm going to go with Marc-Andre Fleury. And this is the part of the video where once again, I'm going to emphasize I can only take players who are now back in their prime. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, who are currently in their prime, I cannot select. So a quick shout to the GOAT, Andre Burakovsky. When you need a goal, Burakovsky's picking you one up. If you know, you know. Our next team's going to be another powerhouse from the Western Conferences. We're going to see the Colorado Avalanche on the move next. The arrow's going to be sending Colorado southeast, but not too much is going to be happening here as Colorado's just going to be claiming a free state. The next spin for the Avalanche, though, is going to be sending them into a matchup as they're going to be heading southwest. In this situation, it's pretty clear who they're taking on, as that's going to be the San Jose Sharks. The Colorado Avalanche aren't seeing too many adjustments to the team, but one change is going to be Alex Galchenyuk because he's up to an 83 overall. Defensively, this team's going to be getting 2 upgrades as Josh Manson's back up to an 85 overall, and so is Eric Johnson. But in between the pipes, Alexander Georgiev's still going to be leading the way. Logan Couture is going to be picking up the lone goal of the first period. In the second period, though, San Jose's doubling down on that, and now they're 20 minutes away from completing a massive upset. So in the final seconds, Colorado's not going to be able to get back to this game because they're not even picking up a goal, as the San Jose Sharks are going to be shutting them out. Who would have seen that one coming? With Colorado not having a ton of players returning to their prime, we're just bringing 85 overall Josh Manson onto the team. I'm going to keep it 1,000. I have no clue how the San Jose Sharks won that game, let alone shut the Colorado Avalanche out. The next team on attack is going to be the Philadelphia Flyers. This team's completely surrounded by teams, so with them heading north, we're definitely getting into a matchup. And the team that they're taking on next is definitely not going to be an easy task for them as they have to take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Travis Konecny is going to be picking up the first goal of the game on the power play. In the second period, Philly's going to double down on their lead, but Austin Matthews is going to pick up a power play goal to keep this game somewhat close. So I'm going to explain this because I know I've already complained about it like 3 times in this video. So I have to pause the game a minute in advance. So I paused the game at the 2:30 mark. The game actually won't pause till the minute 30 mark. Since Austin Matthews scored at 1:47, it unpauses my pause. So Philly's taking it 4-2 and we don't get to jump into this game. So although he's lost back-to-back games now, he's still at 94 overall, so Carey Price, you're coming to Philly now. But if you do lose your next game, I'm not transferring you to the next team. Not gonna lie, looking at some of the teams left here, I'm very surprised. The Seattle Kraken, the Philadelphia Flyers, San Jose Sharks, Anaheim Ducks, and then there's the St. Louis Blues that have just been chilling the entire time. Columbus is finally getting in on the action as they're gonna be the next attacking team. So to start things off, Columbus is gonna be heading south. And although Columbus is completely surrounded by teams, they're still gonna find a way to avoid them, and they're taking a free state. For the second spin in a row, we're going to see Columbus heading south, but this time they're not going to be able to avoid a matchup as they have to take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now I do understand there's going to be certain people that said, oh, well, Columbus should claim this spot right here. I would say this area right here is more southeast. They're heading directly south, so I'm giving them Tampa. On the Columbus Blue Jackets, this team's not going to be changing too much. Gaudreau's back up to a 91 while Patrick Laine is up to an 89. Besides these 2 upgrades, the team's looking the exact same. Tampa's going to be picking up 2 goals in less than a minute in the first period, and they've got themselves a 2-0 lead. After a scoreless second period, Columbus is finally getting on the board, and we have a 1-goal game heading into the final 2 minutes. Columbus is attempting to make a last-second push, but Corey Perry's going to be burying the empty netter, and Tampa's taking this one 3-1. With that massive win from Tampa, they're going to be adding a solid piece to the forward core as they're bringing in Johnny Hockey. After our next matchup, we'll be officially down to our final 10 teams, and there's still teams that haven't attacked yet, nor been attacked. Shout out to my St. Louis Blues, Dallas Stars, and Detroit Red Wings. Also Florida Panthers, I'm not going to forget about you guys. One of the Stanley Cup finalists and the Florida Panthers are going to be on the attack next. For this team, we don't even have to spin a wheel because there's only one direction they can go, and they got to take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. So low-key, this Florida Panthers team's actually looking pretty solid. 91 overall Eric Staal, 86 overall Patrick Hornquist, and then 85 overall Anthony Duclair, so they're getting some major upgrades there. Defensively, this team's getting even better as they have an 89 overall Mark Staal in the first defensive pairing. And in between the pipes, of course, we got our prime Sergei Bobrovsky, also known as Sergei Bobrovsky about a month and a half ago. I can't even remember when the playoffs ended, to be fair. The scoring's finally going to get started in the second period as Florida's taking a 2-1 lead entering the final 20 minutes. In the third period, though, the Tampa Bay Lightning are taking over. Johnny Gaudreau, Brain Point, and Nick Paul are all picking up goals, and Tampa's now up 4-2 in the game. Florida was putting in some work in the final seconds, but it's not going to be enough to get back into this game, and Tampa's taking it 4-2. Tampa already has enough studs in their forward core, but why not add another? So Eric Staal, welcome to the team. So although Tampa's not claiming a bunch of land, that was still a big win for them because they did get Eric Staal from it. So it's about time the St. Louis Blues get in on the action as they're the next attacking team. The Blues are going to be heading directly north, and I already know that leads into a matchup. And what matchup is that going to be? Well, they're going to be taking on the Seattle Kraken. The St. Louis Blues aren't really going to be seeing any adjustments. Braden Shen's up to an 87 overall, while Brandon Saad's up to an 85. Defensively, we are going to see 2 guys getting upgrades, and that's going to be Torrey Krug and Colton Parayko, and they're both up to 87s. While in between the pipes is where we're going to see our biggest difference maker as Jordan Binnington's up to an 87 overall, and he's looking to prove everyone wrong. wrong. St. Louis and Seattle are going to be exchanging goals in the first period. In the second though, that's when Seattle's taking off as they're going to be potting 3 unanswered, but Brandon Saad's going to be picking up a late one to keep this game somewhat close. In the third period, the St. Louis Blues are going to go on a crazy 4-minute stretch as they're picking up 3 goals, but late in the third period, Brandon Tamm's going to pick up the equalizer and we're heading into overtime in a 5-5 tie. So you would think with just a few seconds left in this game, we would be headed to overtime, but you can't doubt the St. Louis Blues as Braden Schen's going to be giving us the go-ahead goal. And off the ensuing face-off, Seattle's going to try to get back into this game, but Buchnevich is going to pick up another goal for St. Louis, and we're taking this one 7-5. Even with Binner back in his prime, I don't think he's going to be the guy for us, so Marc-Andre Fleury, welcome to the St. Louis Blues. And although St. Louis has been chilling for a long time, I think they now own the most land in the entire game. Just off of that one win, they're now at the top of NHL Imperialism. You'll love to see it, you really do. We're down to our final 2 teams, and Detroit's looking to make some moves finally. The Red Wings are going to be taking their town southeast, and that's going to lead them into a matchup with the Tampa Bay Lightning. On the Detroit Red Wings, the only guy that's getting an upgrade here is David Perron. He's moving to an 86 overall. Meanwhile, the rest of this team is going to be staying exactly the same. Corey Perry's going to get the goal scoring started early in this game as he's picking up a power play goal just 3 minutes in. After picking up the first goal of the game, Corey Perry's going to double down that in the second period as he's going to pick up his second. So I've officially given up with the pausing on this game. Right after Stamkos scored, I decided, oh, I gotta pause again. So I hit the pause button, then it went to 19 seconds, unpaused and said, no, we'll just simulate the rest of the game for you. Tampa's winning 5-1, but I don't want to complain about this the entire video because I know people are going to get sick and tired of it, but nah, this is just stupid. With David Perron being the only guy returning to his prime of Detroit, he's now joined the Tampa Bay Lightning. So although that wasn't a massive win for the Tampa Bay Lightning, we're officially down to our Elite 8. And we already know who's going to be the last attacking team. That's going to be the Dallas Stars. Through heading east, you would think the Dallas Stars would be running into a matchup. But even with all the land that's been claimed, Dallas is still going to find a way to find a free state. The next direction that Dallas is going to be heading is mainly north. And through heading this way, they're going to have to take on the San Jose Sharks. The forward core for the Dallas Stars is probably better than you expected. Tyler Seguin's an 89 overall, Jamie Benn an 90, Dodonov an 85, and then Max Domi's going to lead the third line at an 86 overall. This team's also going to be seeing some upgrades defensively as Ryan Sears also up to a 90 overall. While the goaltending, that's going to be staying the same as Jake Ottinger's leading the way at an 89. Late in the first period, Lindell's going to be picking up the first goal of the game. Okay, so I'm about to pause the game. I'm pausing right now. Okay, I just wanted to prove that when I hit pause, there is that 1 minute delay. It's a 2-1 game, but I just wanted to show that. I don't know why I didn't show that earlier, but that's neither here nor there. It's a 1-goal game, a minute 30 left. Let's jump into it. In the final minute of this game, the San Jose Sharks are going to do everything in their power to get back into this game, but it's not going to be enough, and Max Domi is going to give this team an insurance goal, so they've got it all wrapped up. After that Max Domi goal, San Jose wouldn't be able to get back into this game, so Dallas is going to be taking it 3-1, unless they score an empty netter here. And it might be 4-1. They're not going to be, so Dallas is taking it 3-1. Dallas already has a goaltender I believe they can win with, so we might as well upgrade the defense a bit. So we're bringing in 94 overall Erik Karlsson. Although it took a long time for Dallas to make a move, they're making a huge one and they've claimed a bunch of land. So I've put everyone back on the wheel, and the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to be the first attacking team in the second round. The Penguins aren't going to be messing around as they're heading south but slightly east. But even with all the teams around them, they're still going to find a way to find a free state. The next spin for the Pittsburgh Penguins is going to be sending them south once again, but this time they're heading slightly west. But the change in direction is not really changing too much up because they still have to take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. After 2 scoreless periods, Alexander Ovechkin and Nick Bonino are both picking up goals for the Penguins, while Alex Killorn's picking one up for Tampa, but they're still trailing heading into the final minute. So I have absolutely no clue how to explain this goal, other than saying Jeff Carter is the highest IQ hockey player I've ever seen in my life. He's gonna purposely trip the defenseman so they throw the puck into their own net, and he picks up the goal here. I've never seen this happen before in NHL 23. The Pittsburgh Penguins already have a bunch of elite pieces on the team, but why not add Steven Stamkos to that? And not only was that win allowing them to bring a great player onto the team, but they're also claiming a bunch of land in the process. We're going to be sticking in the Eastern Conference as the New Jersey Devils are looking to make another move. The Devils are going to be heading south. Through heading south, the Devils are going to be taking this state right here. I don't know what state it is, I'm Canadian. The next spin is going to have New Jersey doing the complete opposite as they're heading directly north. And through heading north, this team's going to enter into some Philadelphia Flyers territory, and that's who they're taking on. After a scoreless first period, each team's going to explode in the second. Philly's picking up 3, while New Jersey's only picking up 2, so Philly's got that 1-goal lead. Alright, so a lot's happening in the third period. Philly's picking up 4 goals, while New Jersey's only able to pick up 3. It's a 2-goal game heading into the final minute. With how the goal scoring's been so far in this period, New Jersey might be able to come back. So I was half joking when I said the New Jersey Devils would have a chance of coming back into this game, but then they're going to be scoring a goal with 30 seconds left, so it might actually be a possibility for them. Although New Jersey is making a late push, Jeff Skinner's going to... Wow, he missed the empty net. I was going to say he's picking up the empty net there, but he isn't. But Philly's still going to be taking this one 7-6, right? Okay, I thought... Yeah. A lot went on in this period. It doesn't matter. Philly's taking it 7-6. The New Jersey Devils have acquired a few good pieces so far, but the one I'm bringing to the Philadelphia Flyers is going to be Patrice Bergeron. If you told me these would be the last 5 teams, I wouldn't have believed you, especially Anaheim. because they've been just chilling. We're heading back over to the Western Conference, and we're going to see the St. Louis Blues on the attack. The arrow is going to be telling St. Louis to head mainly west, and by doing this, they're just going to be claiming a free state. The next direction they're going to be heading is northwest, but once again, that's just leading to a free state for the St. Louis Blues. With our third spin, this team's heading southwest, and I can guarantee this is going to be a matchup for us. And we already have an idea of what team we're going to be taking on, and that's going to be the Dallas Stars. Jordan Kyrou and Dodonov are going to be exchanging goals in the first period. Late in the second period, Tyler Seguin's going to be giving Dallas the 2-1 lead entering the intermission. In the third period, Lundqvist, Dodonov, and Jimmy Benn are picking up 3 straight goals for the Dallas Stars. Colin Pranko would be able to respond, but St. Louis is down 3 goals entering the final minutes here. And I think we already know how this game's going to end. Alright, so St. Louis isn't coming back into this game, but I think we all knew that. Dallas is taking it 5-2. I don't even know why I simulated the rest of this game. There was no way St. Louis is coming back. I'm just wasting my own time. So although Jake Oettinger has been really holding it down in between the pipes, it's really hard to pass on a prime Marc-Andre Fleury, so that's who I'm going to be bringing to the team. The other option was Braden Shen, so it could really go either way. And that win from the Dallas Stars was absolutely massive because they're claiming all of this land. And I'm also going to give them these 3 states right here, just because it doesn't really make sense for them not to have it. Stick on the ice executive decisions are being made. We're heading back over to the Metro Division as we're going to see the Philadelphia Flyers on the attack next. Philly's completely surrounded by Pittsburgh Penguins territory, so that's who they're going to be taking on. Now I know, yes, they technically are touching some Dallas Stars territory, but if you base it from the logo, no matter what direction they go, they have to take on Pittsburgh. Alright, so I guess there's something special with this Philadelphia Flyers team because they're picking up 3 goals in the first period. Alright, I'm taking all that back because it's now a 1-goal game. I thought Philly had this one in the bag, maybe not. In the final seconds of this game, Ryan Ellis is bringing the puck to the neutrals. How'd you miss the empty net? Bro, you literally had to shoot it straight and you still shot it wide. And he missed the empty net. Okay, I guess they're just going to miss empty nets left, right, and center, but it doesn't matter because Philly's still going to be taking down the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's not really up for debate who we're going to be bringing onto the Philadelphia Flyers. It's going to be Sid the Kid. Him in a Philadelphia Flyers uniform, I don't know how I feel about that. So with that win, this is what the map's looking like now. I think I'm going to force Anaheim to play Dallas here because Anaheim owns like 2 sections. They own theirs and they own, I think that's the LA Kings. Outside of that, they own nothing. So executive decision made by Stick on the Ice here. The Anaheim Ducks are now taking on the Dallas Stars. Erik Karlsson and Troy Terry are going to be exchanging goals in the first period. In the second period, Rupe Hintz and Joe Pavelski are both picking up goals for Dallas, so they have themselves a 1-goal lead entering the final 20 minutes. Early in the third period, Troy Terry's going to be picking up a goal to even this game up, so we're entering the late stages of the game in a 3-3 tie. So there's 15 seconds left in the game, so there's no way the Dallas Stars are going to score here, so we're headed to overtime. Never mind. Joe Pavelski's that guy. Before we get into our final matchup, I'm going to bring one more defenseman onto the Dallas Stars, and that's going to be Drew Doughty. So we're officially down to our final matchup, the 2 teams that everyone was expecting, the Philadelphia Flyers and the Dallas Stars. I understand why the Dallas Stars made it to the final. They were a playoff team, they've got themselves a solid core. And then there's the Philadelphia Flyers. Nothing really to say about that team, except thank you for retaining 50% of Kevin Hayes' deal. I think that's going to work out pretty well for St. Louis. Dallas is going to come out flying in the first period as they're picking up the first 2 goals of the game. After a scoreless second period though, Cam York and Jeff Skinner are both going to be picking up a goal, so we have ourselves a tie game entering the final 2 minutes. In the final 2 minutes, neither team would be able to pick up another goal, so we're headed to sudden death overtime. In the early stages of overtime, Philly's going to be showing off some elite passing before finding Patrick Kane on the doorstep, and he's going to be bringing the OT winner to win the Philadelphia Flyers NHL Imperialism. The Philadelphia Flyers just won NHL Imperialism. To be fair, the Philadelphia Flyers actually earned it though. Unlike some of the other teams that have won Imperialism, Philly actually took down quite a few good teams. I don't know how they took down those good teams, but they did. So shout out to the Flyers.